You're going to have to work this way. It's just the arrow key. Left and right. Oh boy.
I give it 2 slides.
Are you going to give me like a cue?
Hello everybody, if I can have everybody take their seats please. Can everybody hear me okay?
No, you might need to increase that.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? It's about as loud as it goes. Good evening, everyone. Welcome, and thanks to all of you who've come and everybody who is live. This is, I think, the first in-person AGM we've had in 3 years. Because last year was was on Zoom. This year is a bit of a hybrid. We have people who've shown up and people who are online streaming with on YouTube. So thank you for everybody who made that happen over there. There's our tech section. So we're going to start today with Sean. He has a small little thing to read and share with everybody.
We acknowledge that we are connecting both in person and virtually today from our spaces on land that has been shared with us. We would like to acknowledge that we are on traditional territories of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe peoples, whose presence here continues to this day. We would also like to acknowledge the land we are on is at the meeting place of 2 treaties, the lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and those of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty. We would like to thank them and other Indigenous peoples for sharing this land with us. We would also like to acknowledge the Chippewas of the Georgina Island First Nation as our closest Indigenous community.
Thank you very much, Sean. All right. So it's a little too low. The agenda for today is we're going to approve the agenda, which we will also then approve last year's annual general meeting minutes. There is a special award today for Kelly Tooley. We'll have a moment of remembrance for those who passed during our last curling season. Then we'll get into the President's report, which will consist of league reports. I did not change that slide, sorry. Financials, and then we will hit on to other business, which is predominantly the bylaw update, and then we will adjourn. So the very first thing is approval of agenda. Do we have someone who can approve the agenda? Do we have someone who will second that? All right, the agenda is approved. The approval of 2021 annual general meeting minutes was posted online, so we need someone to motion to approve those. Susan, second them. Brian, thank you very much. All right, so for today's special event is to honor Kelly Tooley, and we're going to have Kent come on up and say a few words and present something to Kelly.
Did you say a few words?
Humor words, humor.
Few? Surprise! 2,000 hours later, she got to get a half an hour then. Good evening, people, I think. Don't want to ruin anything like, if I get near these, it's like the old everything goes
Would you like
away.
me to move?
That would be good. That would be good. Okay, folks, first, this is not in my notes, but to me, it's just an honor. Yeah, what can I say? Okay, I'll try and get through this. If someone would like to be on hand so that when I start bawling, I'll point where I am and then you continue, okay? Okay, we often describe our club as a member-owned and member-run club. Member-run requires volunteers, or more accurately, volunteer hours to succeed. Back in 1919, just before I was born, several men of like mind volunteered to establish a curling club for their mutual enjoyment. 103 years down the ice, we continue to enjoy our club, our sport, thanks again to our many volunteers. As one of those volunteers, Kelly has shown a willingness to contribute her time and effort beyond others. To cite some old cliches, because that's where I'm coming from, she goes the extra mile. She gives 110%. She takes that extra step. Anybody got another one? I ran out. That's good. Equally impressive is that she has been doing this for a long, long time. Okay. To give you some insight into her contribution over the years, I didn't want to push it too far, Kelly. Okay. I didn't say eons and eons. I said a long, long time. That's different. I will read from a list of activities and projects with which she has been involved. Because this is a list, the items are just words. And because they're just words, although descriptive, they don't really convey the number of hours and effort that Kelly has put in to do these things. So, as all of you are volunteers, I would just ask you to think back to your own experiences to appreciate the hours that Kelly has contributed for our benefit. Okay, Kelly joined the club after Unionville hosted the World Juniors in 1989. So that would be 1990 or 91, somewhere. Good. Now, first off, just while she's still a junior, she helped to run the bantam and junior programs just to get us started in this thing, right? Okay, then she ran our Little Rocks program for several years. Then she became a member of...
Unfortunately, some of my Little Rocks are here.
There's still, I noticed that. There's one back there, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I said a long, long time, right? Okay. I wasn't going to point that out. Okay. Where did she mean? Okay. She then got into the mixed section as a member of the committee, which of course at that time and still is the biggest of our committees and the one that has the most happening and the most work. She jumped right into that one. Then she became chair of that section for what she thought was a couple of years. Unfortunately, 3 years later, they finally found someone to take over. But Kelly, in the meantime, took that extra step and said, okay, I'll fill in until you find somebody. She co-edited the Tradition. The Tradition used to be the club's newsletter. You'll see other people, other things like that, like the Toronto Star and all these. They're devastated because it's electronic nonsense. Okay, so that went the way of the dinosaur. But Kelly co-edited it when it was popular. Came out I think 3 times a year. She coached and organized clinics since taking another extra step to become a certified level 1 coach in 2004, and then paused momentarily to become a certified level 2 coach in 2006. She introduced what is called now, that all these things she's organizing, these were the old clinics that were run about 3 a year, 2 adults, 1 junior, and I think that is correct, yes. As things progressed, things morphed, including our clinics. We had to change things around. Well, Kelly was instrumental in making sure we got on the right track and stayed there. She introduced something called Try Curling and Free Intro to Curling. And these were kind of like 1 hour special deals, I believe, yeah. And that was in the spring of 2016. That was helped by Curl Canada. They had someone here helping to instruct and do the thing. Well, it was such a good program, Kelly rewrote them, refigured them, so they would suit us. So we ended up with a program for youth, women only, and adults. She had that done by the fall of 2017. Still maintaining committee, clinic responsibilities all the way through this. Then she was instrumental in assisting with the establishment of our current clinic program, which is the Learn to Curl. That program has become a primary recruitment and promotional tool for the club. And in fact, I think Kelly's last venture into that was last February or something like that, 2022. So take those years, okay, 2004, I think you did something probably before that, but 2004 she gets her coach. She's still doing it in 2020. That's 19 years. 19 years. Multiple clinics every year. So, that's enough, right? No, now we take another step forward here, another step. Because while she's doing all that, she's also continuing on with a whole bunch of other stuff. So, here's the other thing she was doing while she was doing all those clinics. Kelly has been running and organizing, well, they did that part, okay. She co-chaired the mixed invitational bonspiel for 4 years. And that was one that was kind of dying, and she took that over with a co-chair, and they built that right back up to where it was. It was excellent, yes. She was elected to the board in 2012 and was president from 2013 to 2014. She acted as the club liaison for the Unionville Main Street Revitalization Project. That's when they had all the charrette meetings and the councillors and all the boys were arguing, yelling, who's going to buy us out, who isn't. Kelly was our liaison for all that. Reporting back to the board. When the plant failed in 2013, she worked with the group and organized ice for us at Bayview and Uxbridge in order for us to finish our season, finish our playoffs, and have our championship. She submitted a Curling Day in Canada application to Curl Canada in 2019. It was so well done, we won it. All the curling clubs in Canada, we got it. Okay? So she then organized the whole day with the TSN, Jeff Stoughton, Nolan Thiessen, and our inanimate Briar Jenkins, the star of the show. Okay? She was instrumental in building social media presence. Twitter started in November 2012, Facebook in January 2013, and Instagram in January 2017. Kelly continues to maintain and take care of those accounts for us right to this day.
You follow us, right, Kent?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me see. I have an old flip phone. Can I get it on that? Thanks, Dan. I do appreciate that, don't you? Okay, she also assisted with member and corporate rentals on the weekends because, of course, you got to keep working, don't you? I think so. There was also a thing called Winter Rouge at the new Rouge Urban National Park in February 2018. So in conjunction with the Toronto Curling Association, she set up outdoor curling and organized a group of volunteers to share information about curling and our club specifically with all the visitors. She organized a group of members to walk in the parade and set up outdoor street curling for visitors to try at the Unionville Festival in 2019. And then this year at the festival in 2020, we had a booth. Kelly was at that as well.
I was there, but it was for Kelly.
Well, okay. She's helped, I think, yes, that's right. She has helped with various pub nights and other events. She also assisted organizing online bonspiel in 2020 and 2021 when we were closed because of COVID to keep everybody kind of in touch. And I think one of the more recent, other than clinics, recent things that I think should be really well treated is her chairmanship of the Centennial Committee. In our 100th birthday, Kelly took charge of that committee. She had a lot of help for sure, no question, but she took charge of that, and we ended up with a gala dinner and a Centennial bonspiel, and that was just phenomenal. Just another step, right, Kelly? Just another 110%. all in a day's work. You know. Okay, well, that's an impressive history. That's a very impressive history. Thousands of hours have been contributed to our club over a 30-year period by Kelly. Okay, that's a long, long time. My math says that. Sorry, I know how we both feel that way, right? Exactly. She was that high as a junior when I was working here. Like, oh man, you kidding?
her very young.
Yeah. All right. So, there's a number of ways to describe this tremendous effort from Kelly. However, tonight we're going to describe it as an exemplary contribution. So before we ask Kelly to come forward to get an honorarium and a certificate, I would like to read to you what the certificate says. It doesn't say anything, you have to read it, sorry. Now, I think I'm going to call this a proclamation, not a certificate, okay? Greetings to all. This is where you say greetings. Greetings. Let it be known that Kelly Tooley has been deemed by all members of the club to embody all the attributes of an exemplary member. By choice and sacrifice, a dedicated worker on behalf of the game and the club. Therefore, it is the desire of this club and its members to place this special person in a position of particular esteem amongst them in perpetuity for her exemplary contribution to the Unionville Curling Club.
Okay, she just wants a couple pictures, she just says Kent covered everything. So again, thank you very much, Kent. Do you want to come up so you can get the pictures then? In case those of you who don't know, Kelly's parents are here today. There they are right there, so they came out just to see this. You want to do the picture now?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
then I don't know that they want to stay.
That's what I'm saying. So we're going to let the picture be done now because I'm sure Kelly's parents don't want to sit here for the next 4.5 hours listening to club stuff. Kelly does have other family here because Kelly has so much family. Paul and Christine.
Paul and Christy.
Paul and Christine.
So I just
I'm behind because I'm not the family guy.
Us flip phone guys.
Thank you.
which one?
I don't know. Where
This
were
one,
you?
right here. You ready? Yep. 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more. Where's the certificate? Raquel's got it.
No,
Or the proclamation.
Proclamation.
Okay. We're good? Kirsten gone? Okay. And Dwayne?
well, I'll get one with my parents.
Yeah. So we're having your way.
Old, not that old.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dwayne? Hand her the proclamation as president.
Well, this is like handing her the keys to the city.
Exactly.
Oh,
Slide this way.
shake hands.
Slide this way.
There you go. Does that look proper? Do I need ribbon cutting scissors too?
Okay, ready? One more. There.
So again, thank you for Kelly's parents for coming, and also for Paul and Christine. So, but yes, so we're going to give them a couple minutes to leave.
She was our chief babysitter too. I don't know how she fit all that in.
Comments have congratulated her too in the comments. People
Oh, there you go.
Mark Ward said encore.
Kent, you want to come back and reread it? Okay, I'm gonna go on now. So the next part of our agenda is remembering members and past members we lost during the past season. So this year, we lost Greg Bates, we lost Wolfgang Frank, and we also lost one of our past presidents, Bill Creeper. So let's take a moment to remember them. So we're going to move on now to the presidential report, and I'm going to try and go as quickly as possible. So the season that was, we started out with the sizzle. Just change it for 1 second to the next week. And we have some sizzle. There you go. We had a great time. This was in September. It was to start the year. And that's where the fun began. Then we got onto the ice in October, and we got some games in till Christmas. Or just a little bit before, and then we were on hold again. Oh no, not again. Are we going to open or are we not going to open again after Christmas? And we did. Right near the end of December, we started playing again. We welcomed 2022 and all of that fun that we got to miss out on for those 6 weeks we were off. We had a fun day in, I believe it was March, which Team Hong Kong, Team Mexico, and Team Jamaica came out here to play a series of exhibition matches. And there was actually a few fans here, and it was also, I believe, taped and streamed by Team Hong Kong. We do have members from this club that play on all 3 of those teams. So it was a great day, and everybody had a lot of fun. Then we had our first championship day in 3 years. It was a little different this year because we did have limited capacity, so we had to have guests here only for the draw they wanted to watch, which was unlike a lot of previous years where you could basically show up at 11 and stay till 11. Not that any of us have never done that before, every now and then. So it was a great time. Sizzle again. All right. Now we're going to go on to the league reports. As the head of the Open section, since I'm up here, I'm just going to start. Open had 2 full draws this year, which was down from 4 full draws. So we'll be hoping next year to gain some of those teams back and at least get back up to 3 full draws. Everybody had a great time. We welcomed, actually Team Mexico played in our new Open division. They had come from Bayview. So that was fun and greatness in Open. So now from Dennis and the Day Men's League. The Day Men had 52 members. We had 5 bonspiels with 32 to 40 participants. We went to an all-cash prize, changed from our meat prizes from Village Grocers. Fortunately, we had no accidents or COVID incidents. So, and Dennis said he wants to thank very much the UCC board for the support. Now on to John Geiler, who was in charge of the evening men's draw. It's a little longer, I'm going to condense it. Games were played on Tuesday night. They were a part of the men's team entry division due to size. They only had 16 players to start the first draw, and they had 15 players in the second and third draw. John's point is, I am retiring as the men's chair, so that means they're looking for a new chair to play next year. And it is actually very important. Without the chair, the league cannot run. So we'll be the new board will be sending something out when the new season starts to roll around. So that's it. So next, I'm going to ask Kent to come back up to talk about T50 and T60.
Okay, I was asked to be brief. I'm a master of brief. I didn't see anybody nodding. Yeah, of course you are. Okay, T50. There's a no over there. Okay, T50. This is the team entry league for male curlers, 50 years and over, curling on Friday afternoons. This season we had 10 teams playing 2 round-robin schedules. We had scheduled 3 playoff games, but COVID disruptions reduced that to a 2-game playoff format. The teams finishing first and second after the round robins represent our league in the championship game. No significant change to member numbers or format is anticipated for the upcoming season. Okay, the T60 League. This is a team entry league for male curlers 60 years and over, and it was formed a few years back to accommodate those curlers who travel and therefore could not commit to team entry play. So those going south felt they shouldn't get on a team entry team, and nor should they have, because they would be disrupting everything when they left. So the premise of this league was to curl a short season so those members could head south without disrupting any teams or any schedules. Ideally, we have 8 teams playing a round robin followed by 3 playoff games. The league plays Wednesday afternoons except for the monthly day men's bonspiel time slot. League play is finished in early January, so those that want to can leave. This season there were only 6 teams registered, but with no one traveling and no one taking up the extra time corporate rentals and so on, we got to play 3 complete round robin schedules. The last one being the playoffs for points, round robin points. However, next year we expect to be back to normal, probably 8 teams, same format.
Mark Ward says, can't.
Did he? Well, you know, like Mark qualifies for the T70 now, so let's not.
Thanks, Kip.
No.
Next up was Little Rocks, which was Adrian. Adrian's not here that I can see, nor did we get a report from Adrian. So Little Rocks came, they saw, they played, they had fun. Actually, no, Little Rocks didn't. The Bantams did, and the juniors. Little Rocks stayed home for the year. And I can say it was a lot of fun because my stepson played in it this year for the first time. They really liked the treats and the drinks.
Neil's here. Neil wants to say something.
Oh! Well, he didn't tell me. Come on up, Neil.
Come on up.
You didn't tell me. Neil, I'm sorry. Neil's here for.
I didn't know what I was going to say. But I just said-
Well, you don't have to, but you can.
Yeah. So,
Get closer to the microphone.
yeah. So, the junior badminton program was quite successful this year. We had 26 kids that would come out every week, meet every week. So it was really good to see because we're all totally looking forward to coming out. We all intermingled for the first half of the year. The new curlers were all along with Adrian, with him showing the way for the kids, and that meant that the more experienced curlers got to play together, so it was really good for them. And then at the end of the year, they all intermingled, and it was really a success. Just want to say that.
Thanks, Neil. On to day women. I know Jackie's not here. Has anybody come? So I don't think. Oh, there we go. Brian's got something. I didn't know day women was on your new retirement schedule.
I managed to fit it in.
Perfect.
I got something from Mike's and Andy's.
Okay, perfect.
So this is the Day Women year-end summary. Season began with 43 curlers. We started the first schedule with Susan Hum Lindley as our sponsor. This allowed us to present monetary prizes to the first and second place winners of this schedule. In November, we had our past president's bonspiel. Pat Seawright and Lois Roberts sponsored the event, and the first prize winners were presented with a curling rock engraved with the date of the bonspiel. Amica also sponsored the event, which allowed prizes to be given to the second place winners. We had our Christmas luncheon, which was catered by Food for Thought. Due to COVID restrictions, we had a delicious turkey dinner provided in individual containers. The cost for each guest was $25. Karen Harvey, one of our sponsors, gave each guest a small curling rock ornament for their Christmas tree. Due to another COVID outbreak, the second and third schedules were combined. We had 8 games in total, which was sponsored by Mary Gillard. The last week of the season was spent with the Molly Hood bonspiel, sponsored by the Hood brothers. 2 of the brothers attended the bonspiel and were very happy to see so many ladies playing in a spiel named after their mother. Lunch was served with sandwiches from the village grocer. The Hood family wrote a check for next year's bonspiel. Championship Day was a great success this year for the Day Women with the monetary assistance from the board. This allowed first and second place prizes to be awarded. Our Day Women executive for 2022-23 season is as follows. The chair is Teresa Arbuthnot, past chair Jackie Latin, ice chair Linda Parsons, sponsorship membership Carol Wolf, ice bonspiels Joanne Hodge, and secretary treasurer Carol Bialo, and house Terry Driscoll. Thanks to the executive for all their hard work this season. Sincerely, Jackie Latin.
Okay, Dwayne's enjoying our new bathroom. I encourage all you to do the same. So we're gonna have Sam come up for the evening women's.
representing Evening Women as the chair. So we had 12 teams this year. We play on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, 6 teams on each night. We tried to play 3 draws. We kind of did 2.5 because of that whole COVID 6-week situation. We had about 6 new members, 5 who were completely new to curling and Unionville Curling Club, which was great. And our new co-chairs for next year are on the slides, Wilman and Ingrid. Thanks.
Thank you. Sean, you're up for team entry, men's team entry on Tuesdays.
Good evening. Next year I can pledge to do the land acknowledgement standing up, pardon me. But for men's team entry this year we had 12 teams. We had 8 in the A division, but 4 in the B division got to play against the 4 teams in the men's draw division. So we formed sort of a hybrid solution that hopefully worked well for both. And I think that's all I have to share. Thank you very much.
The game, the curl, the winnow.
Now, do either of you want to speak for mixed?
Michael.
Okay, Michael, you want to come up? I believe you're both retiring. That's why there's no names yet.
Oh.
At least that's what I was told.
Yeah, you were told that.
We'll see about that. Okay, so I am here as the co-chair of Mixed along with Nilesh, who's behind the camera. So, Mixed section, once again, the largest in the club. Last year we had about 120 active members. We did run one brand new and very successful bonspiel in November. We had 64 curlers there. It was a lot of fun. We would like to thank a lot of the dedicated committee members who made this section run. It is a big section. It requires a lot of help, and they stepped up. Special thanks, however, to Celeste Bernier and Peter Boggs as our draw masters, who really did an amazing job of balancing our teams from draw 1 to draw 3. Also thanks to our score master, Kent, who made sure our scoring was managed and recorded every week. And to our mixed section winners this year, just wanted to shout out to the following 4 people: Dustin Krill, Alexis Lindley, Linda Wellham, and Patrick Knight as the winning team. Also wanted to mention, I know all the sections were challenged financially this year, and Mix was too, but we were able to count on the generosity of several of our members this year who made sure that we had enough money to pay for our Friday night pizza, which is a big deal for Mixed. It happened this year. Thank you to those donors for making it happen. And we look forward to the upcoming year. We look forward to a lot of returning and new members. And we're also looking for new committee members, so if you're interested, let us know. And we are also planning to return to 3 bonspiels next year. And finally, just to thank my co-chair, Nilesh. Both of us were out of the country a little bit this year, but we made it work as a tag team. And we're so much in sync that tonight we're wearing the same shirt. We didn't even plan that, so thank you.
I just have one thing. I just want to point out that Patrick Knight, who won this year, is a first-year curler and went to learn to curl with Kelly. So.
Very nice. Ryan, you have something from Mike Solini from Mixed Doubles, I believe.
Okay, mixed doubles. This is from Michael Giuliani. Mixed doubles league enjoyed tremendous growth last season, expanding from 16 to 24 teams. The league operates 3 draws on Monday and is looking forward to maintaining its size and fast pace for next season.
Women's team entry. Perfect. Thanks. Come on up.
Okay, I'm not Louise Hill.
No.
I'm Mary Lynn. I know most of you. I'm speaking on behalf of Women's Team Entry. And first of all, what I'd like to do is I'd like to thank the board for all their work getting us through the last couple of years. Really, really, I know part of what you went through because I was on one of your committees, and I really kudos to all of you, especially you. Not really, just kidding. just kidding. Before COVID, we had 14 teams in 2 divisions playing Thursday mornings and afternoons. This past season, we played with 8 teams in 1 division. So the B division wasn't too happy, but they took it well. Except for the shutdown in December, January. We had a lot of great games, and everyone was so happy to be here. And so we had our regular season, we had playoffs, and we had our championship weekend. The winners of each draw received bragging rights rather than monetary rewards, but again, we were so happy to be here, it didn't matter. Grand aggregate winners and playoff winners received prize money thanks to that last infusion of cash, which was really nice. And congratulations to Team Gemmel. Yay! Come on, Team Gemmel. Okay, now we're looking forward to 22-23. And happy to report that we have 2 new additional teams already confirmed, and really hoping to get a few more, right, Kent?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Some things didn't change this year, and those were that the Drawmaster skills and record keeping provided by Kent, the support and dedication of Linda, thank you Linda, and fantastic ice that Jim Kinzinger always provides. Thank you.
Now the last 2 on the slide above me, Early Birds and Senior Mix, they're not technically official leagues at this particular point in time. This year, Early Birds, which came from Crazy Birds, was actually run by Raquel. Do you want to say anything, Raquel?
I did write some notes.
Okay, come on up.
Just in case I wasn't sure. Okay, so there were some changes this year. Like I said, Crazy Birds was renamed to Early Birds, as it was the status officially changed from an official league, so we have moved it into the skill development part of Unionville. And the chair will always now be the skill development member of the board. The objectives this year were to increase attendance, increase female attendance, and we wanted the atmosphere to be fun, educational, and a skill development experience. On average, we got about 28 people per game, ranging from 16 to 36 people per week, ranging from 14 to early 80s. Female attendance on average was 9.5, each week ranging anywhere between 3 to 16 women. And I've received feedback that members found it fun, cooperative atmosphere, and and good training experience.
Thank you. The next one was a brand new in-trial league that was set up by Charles. It's a senior mixed. It runs on Mondays. I didn't get any notes from Charles, but we'll just... Oh, there you go. Much better looking Charles.
I'm going to tell him you said that.
That's okay.
So as previously said, this was a new endeavor. So the pause in curling due to the pandemic brought about an idea that in addition to day men and day women leagues, there may be an interest in a recreational, daytime mixed league. From discussion with various members to guarantee some numbers and the availability of ice time, the league kicked off in mid-November on Mondays at 11 a.m. The criteria to participate is a team entry of 2 male, 2 female players, age 50 and over. We ran with a small committee of Chair Charles, and this was his baby, plus myself and Kent. Our inaugural season was extremely successful, exceeding expectations with 9 teams registering. Some of the players had not registered to curl for the 21-22 season, but came back to curl specifically in this new section, in turn bringing in extra membership revenue. We started mid-November with a 9-team round robin, followed by playoffs that involved all teams until the final week. Many of our players commented that the atmosphere of this league is like stepping back to Saturday morning mix 10 years ago. And that's because we're all 10 years older. The success of the section has led to inquiries from multiple members interested in entering a team next season, and we would love to expand, and we are confident that the board will accommodate our request for additional ice time. We'd like to thank the board for the funds at the end of the season. We didn't do any prizes, we just spent it all on a wonderful lunch and drinks. Thank you. And we would also like to thank Jim Kinsinger, who would come in early on Mondays to prepare the ice for us, and a big thanks to all the curlers who made it such a success. Thank you.
So that's it for that section on the sections, on the leagues. So we're going to move on, James. Fundraising. So we had a few different events. We had the Summer Sizzle in September. We had 3 raffles.
Christmas, February, and then March, yeah.
Right, so 3 different raffles. This year was a live online hybrid auction, which we all thought went very well. And the net proceeds from all of that was just under $16,000. Susan, Eric, Raquel did a lot of the setup for that, and the rest of the committee. Thank you very much. Susan, would you like to come and say anything? You don't have to.
Very, very, very short.
Okay.
Very, very short. Yeah. The only thing I want to add to that is that it is the first time that we had a hybrid situation. We didn't know after the club reopened that we were going to have an auction event until probably about a month before. So a month before, it was really scrambling, trying to put it all together, arrange everything together, and decide, because of the capacity, how we were going to manage that. So we were actually, it went very well. We had over 50 people that attended in person. A lot of the activity also happened online as well. So we had quite a bit of participation, both online and in person, which went very well, actually. And I had a lot of positive feedback. We will be sending out a survey sometime in the fall, just to get different, I guess, feedback from different people who attended in person, who didn't attend in person, what they liked most about it, what they didn't like most about it. It went very well. Actually, we also had paid entrance fee also because of the fact that we had to reduce a number of participants. We had to look at ways to cover the cost of the food and the alcohol and everything, because we didn't have any donations from that perspective. So we will be sending a survey towards the start of the season, just to get your opinion for those who did attend and those who did not attend, those who were in person, those who were online, and just to see how we want to plan for our next event. And that's what it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan is one of the 3 members leaving this year, so sitting right beside her is her parent. So this is Eric, and he will be the one in charge of fundraising for the next little while.
Right.
So thank you very much, Susan and Eric and all your team.
I will remember myself about that.
All right, so next we're on to club improvements. We had a couple of larger projects that one finished this year and one started this year. The ladies' locker room was one that was completed just before we started, where we put in new lockers for the ladies. It was painted, and we all hope that everybody enjoyed it and found it much more pleasant to go to. I know James and I, because we were part of it, we got a lot of compliments about the locker sizes, that you can actually put everything in there and you can leave it here rather than a little shoebox size that was there before. It was a lot of fun ripping everything out, and it was a lot of fun seeing the very nice shag carpet and the very nice wallpaper underneath everything. And the second one was a project that just started at the end of the fiscal year, which is the club washrooms. If you haven't been downstairs at the end of this, please go downstairs and check it out. James is going to speak a little more about the club improvements.
All right. We have a pretty busy year this year on the club improvement side. We did some exterior painting, whether you noticed it or not. Kelly noticed it, she loved it. We focused a lot on improving the women's facilities, because for the first time in my life I saw them for last summer, and they were atrocious. So with that, we did new lockers, new carpet, and now the washrooms. So that's basically a brand new facility, which is nice. We did some landscaping out front to improve, I guess you would call it a rock garden that we had before. We did new lighting downstairs, and then a couple upcoming things besides the bathrooms, which are very nice if you haven't seen them. We're doing new lighting up here, just to make it a little nicer. New chair upholstery on the lounge chairs, which aren't out here. And then we're doing new on-ice cameras, so we'll have that for the new year. So, yeah. Hopefully we have just as busy of a improvement.
And this is directly where the fundraising that Susan's group had done. It covers the things like the new cameras that are going to be coming in. So you actually do see your dollars at work here next year. Hopefully you won't see sideways TVs and upside down people.
Yeah, and we're going to be doing a sponsorship push for the upcoming season to hopefully do more club improvements to continue to progress. So we're looking forward to that.
I'm just going to quickly go over the government benefits that we received this year. We'll actually get into it once we get into the financial section a little bit more. There was wage subsidy. We had the Canadian Emergency Business Act loan. Also provincially, we had small business grant support, as well as we got rebates from for property tax and energy. And where this is important is when we get to the financials, you'll see how much money we actually got and the impact it's going to have as these programs disappear. We also, in the fundraising, we applied for every grant that came. And some we were successful, and others we actually got back, we have too much money. They said, you can afford to do this yourself. We do have a large capital reserve, so it's just something to think about when we do apply for grants. Our money actually has hurt us, so we do need to start looking at the long-term plan of fixing the club and reducing. We can't just keep sitting on the nest egg, because it does have a negative effect. But we'll go into government benefits a little more later. I'm going to say congratulations to Team Ontario, so close again. Shane and Lauren, sorry, I didn't mean to go. Shane and Lauren qualified for the Olympic trials, which was in Manitoba, and I believe it was like 3 days before is when the shutdown happened for COVID. So they were ready to go and try to get to the Olympics, and then Curl Canada said, no thank you, don't show up, we're just going to give it to 2 name curlers who sucked. I'm sorry, John. So they, and as you can see, they're very proud. Shane plays in a few of the leagues that I play in. He is very, very grateful to the amount of support this club has given to both of them. He tells me all the time, like, we couldn't do it without the support this club has provided to them. I do know they are planning to try for the Olympic trials again in 4 years. So we're going to hopefully wish them luck and see them up here and maybe on TV if Curl Canada actually lets other people go. So we're going to go on to the next section. UCC, our team. So we have our Linda, our club manager. We have Cheryl and Jaxie, and we have Brittany, who are the bartenders. And we also have Lauren, who this was the best picture we could find of him, and Jim, who's actually not working for once. This is our staff for the year. We do have to say goodbye this year, we believe, to both Cheryl and Jaxie. At this point in time, we understand they're both retiring from their positions to move on to do other things. Jaxie's getting married, and I think Cheryl's just, had enough for now. We do have new people coming in. We have Doug and Marissa, and so we're going to see some new faces here. Cindy. Oh, and so, she wasn't on my list, so I'm sorry. And there you go, and Cindy. So we're going to have 3 new people. If you give me a snapshot, I'll put you in for prosperity. And so I do apologize. So yes, we're going to see some new faces around here next year. So let's. They're not here right now. Jaxie and Cheryl, thank you for everything. And for the new people, thank you for taking over. It's not always the easiest, but we hope you have fun. So the retiring board of directors for this year are our past president, Tina, who is not here tonight. She had other engagements. Susan, Brian Gemmell, and myself, I go into the past president role. Our incoming board of directors, Paul is here, want to raise your hand? Paul, there's a ball at the back. And did Lisa here? Lisa's here. You just, can you stand up? Yeah, there you go. There's Elisa. And I'm going to say this wrong. Reet? All right. She couldn't come. She has previous engagement. So those are our 3 incoming board members. And our new president for next year will be James Nelson. Mike, because he's not even 30 yet. All right, on to the next one. So financials, you can go right past the next one. So a quick review of the revenue for the year. Our membership was $141,000. Rentals, we made $12,000. The bar and pro shop, $54,000. Other is all the other different things where we make some money, $35,000. The auction raised almost $16,000 as we talked about. The capital fee, which is at the beginning of the year, as well as I forgot the other part. Initiation was 17,000. Wage subsidies. This is where I was talking about how much money we actually got from the government. 58,000. Other small business grants, 10,000. The wage subsidy, from what we understand, is going to go away. If it hasn't already, it was supposed to be May. That's a big chunk we have to make up. So just keep that in mind as we continue to go through. Operating expenses, bar and pro shop 45, professional fees 14,000, league fees 3,000, clinic 1,600, special events 1,600, occupancy 27,000, office and general expenses 7,000, wages 142,000, ice, which is just all the different things to do with maintaining the ice, 39,000, utilities 25,000. Money that we raised for capital was 19,000, and again, other expenses was 1,800. So on the year, the club actually turned a profit of just over $3,000. This may fluctuate. We haven't finished the audit 100%. We're still waiting on that back, so that may fluctuate plus or minus 5,000. But on whole, we pretty much broke even for the year. Again, it goes back to the whole point. We got a lot of grant money and wage subsidy. So this is where we are for the capital fund. We opened at 130,000. We brought in 32,000, and it cost us approximately 19,000. Ladies' locker room, as well as some of the other things. So we're going to close at the year with about $145,000 capital fund. Too far. Next one. This is just a little more detail where we've put in, again, a little bit more detail of everything. You'll see the plan where we think we're going to be hopefully in the next 4 years. This is going to get updated with the new board, but we're waiting for the financials to see exactly where we are. But this will give you a general idea of what we're anticipating coming in for revenue. Unfortunately, it doesn't all fit on one slide. Can you go to the next one? Here's some of the expenditures. I'm sorry it's so small, but again, this is the current plan that had been in place. We know some of these numbers are going to change because some of the grants we've gone through. You'll see roof is in there for 60,000. I think we said it was about 140 now with everything that's gone up. So we're going to have to go through all of these numbers. There's another page for more. And again, these are just more different things we're looking at doing. So for the next few years, we look to have a surplus. And we have projects we have to do. So there's a summary page, I think, after this one, James. Yeah, so this is what you're looking at. We're at 144 now. Again, I'm sorry it's so small. I tried to fit everything in. And then our estimated revenue and expenditures over the next few years. So we're looking to be in a few years spending about $60,000 or more once this gets thing. Now, once the financials are available, we'll actually be sending out a note so all the members can see the actual finals. And the capital plan will be a part of it. But until we get the finals and they're audited and approved, this is kind of our guesstimate right now. And onto the balance sheet. Again, as I was talking about, we have a fairly good cash flow, as well as our GICs, which are predominantly our capital reserve. So our total assets are $325,000. On the opposite side, the only big outstanding item we have is the loan, which we have to repay, I think it's by 2023 now. So that is the biggest one piece on the other side. So from a financial point of view, the club is in decent shape. but we do have to remember that our numbers were down last year, and we need some of those people back to make up that 58,000 that we got in wage subsidies. So accounting firm is the same, it hasn't changed, Penny Legion. So everything is with them right now. We're hoping to have it back in the next couple of weeks. I will ask at this point in time, are there any questions generally on the financial health of the club? Anything online?
We're at a minute.
Okay, so we got 1 minute. I tell you a story, but I don't know any stories.
We'll let you know. Continue on.
Okay, we may come back if there's a question. If you have anything that you think of later, again, you can send it to info@Unionville Curling Club or exec@Unionville Curling Club. And as soon as we have the information available, we'll let you know. And I believe Stephanie said it should be around July 14th. She'll have everything finalized. So give or take. Oh, Ian.
Yeah, what are the membership numbers currently, and what do we need to get to make up that $68,000?
301. Okay, so there's 301 adult members this past season, and I believe it was 425 when we looked at it 2 years ago, when we were thinking about when we opened.
20 short right now.
Yeah, so we need about 120 people. Now, we do know some of the people that left Bayview that went to Thornhill are possibly not staying at Thornhill for some inside Thornhill reasons that I won't discuss. So we are hopeful. We also had people who just didn't come back because of they weren't ready, and also because of the government mandates. So we are hoping that we will. We do know, I think, Brian, there was 9 or 10 people that signed up from Learn to Curl that were going to come in. Is that
About
correct?
7 or 8, yeah.
Okay, 7 or 8. So we do know we have 7 or 8 people that have already went to the Learn to Curl that happened. We also didn't have the Learn to Curl early this year. We had it late. So knock on wood, everything being equal, we'll be able to have it earlier in the season, and we will have some attrition of new people. So that is our goal over the summer, was we need to find about 100 new members.
We could at least have those people join in second schedule if they're doing a fall Learn to Curl. That's the idea.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
What's that?
That's the other reason why too we've been updating the facilities, is to try and attract new members rather than scare them off. More so with the ladies' locker room again. It's atrocious. So we are bringing, up to 2022 standards. So hopefully that'll attract some people in. Hopefully.
Okay. All right, we'll go on unless there's any questions yet. Nothing. Okay. So we're going to planning for the new season. So the new board starts tonight after this meeting. And they'll be discussing the deadlines and everything else. So there will be communication coming out in July as to when we're looking for different things. Oh, sorry, not me. I won't be on the board technically. James's board will be telling you when things will be starting and when things will be happening. That's it for the new season, unless you want to add something, James. No? All right.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's different shades of gray. Any questions on anything we've talked about so far? Okay, so the next section, David is going to come up and discuss a little bit with, and this is a bylaw year. So we found a few things that we thought needed updating. Most of it's cosmetic, but David will get into that with everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Dwayne. For those of you who don't know me, I'm David Wadsworth. I've been on the board. This is my end of my first year. And late last year, we struck a committee to review the bylaws. And why did we do that? Well, one of the bylaws we have is that every 5 years we have to review the bylaws of the club. So that was the first reason that we did it. The second reason that we did it was to align with current legislation. There's something called the Ontario Charities Act that replaced the old Ontario Corporations Act that kind of governs how nonprofits and charitable organizations get governed in the province. So that legislation was approved back in October of last year. So we wanted to make sure that the bylaws align themselves with the new legislation, because there's all sorts of things in there about what constitutes a board, how much notice you need to give for AGMs, and those sorts of things. So we wanted to go through the bylaws to make sure that we aligned with that. The third one was we wanted to align with club practices, because one of the things is, as Kent mentioned, club's been around for over 100 years. So as new leagues come in, new sections come in, new people come in, practices change. And so what we wanted to do is take a look at the bylaws and see, okay, what are the things that we have put in the bylaws that we don't do anymore, that maybe we need to revisit them and make adjustments. So we did that as well. And the last one was, and not necessarily the least, was becoming more progressive in the organization. I don't know if anybody has been following what's been going on in Curling Canada with regarding inclusivity and diversity. So what we wanted to do was to make sure that the bylaws were aligned at least within the realms of language and things like inclusivity, that we were reflecting kind of the current best practices in the organization. So with those kind of 4 things in mind, we went through, there was a committee, myself, Tina, Dwayne, Deb Nesbitt, James, sorry. We were all going through the bylaws. There were several iterations and so on. So how many people here read the bylaws? I'm good. I'm glad that people have kind of read through them. So we created a document as well that was, it was really kind of like a change document, rather than giving you the Word document and then you trying to figure out where the changes were. And this is my first time going through a bylaw review. As they say, it's every 5 years. So I think from a practical perspective, are we gonna?
I've already got it over there.
Okay, so you've got some.
Make it bigger.
If I knew how to do that,
It's
I
at
would
the
be
top,
awesome.
it's at the top, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
I work in accounting. I don't know this stuff.
There you go.
Let the young president handle that one.
I see a white screen.
These guys cool down.
Just use the arrows.
I need a mouse.
So some of the, while they're figuring that out,
Oh, no.
some of the changes were, as I said, it was around language, right? So we wanted to make sure that pronouns, for example, we replaced all the he, she pronouns with they. So we're in a, I guess it's an inclusive approach. So that's some of the changes that are there. There were also, when we looked at the bylaws, there was some inconsistencies in the way that paragraphs were numbered, for example. So I thought, well, we got to kind of update those. So it's not as if we changed the meaning; it was more or less kind of the organizational structure within those paragraphs. So if we start off with the first one, we included additional fees in the bylaw itself. So we added initiation fees and annual dues. Are we going to vote on every?
Yeah, you have to. We have to. This is the part where it gets a little tedious. We actually have to vote on each one. So we'll start with this very first one, Article 3, membership and association status. The 2017 to 2022, the changes highlighted. Initiation fees and annual dues were added. And we'll ask, are there any questions on that particular part? So we need a show of hands. All those in favor? Pretty much everybody.
Got to be 2/3, right?
Yeah, it was, everybody put their hand up that was here. Now, is there anything online? No.
The question is too long.
Sorry.
The question.
Sorry, okay. Any opposed? Okay. No, that first one is, you should be writing this down.
I got it.
Okay, first one is passed. Number 2, Article 3, membership and association status. It changed from.
So what we did was we removed the candidates for adult membership. That really wasn't, once again, this comes back to the best practices and what we've done in the last 5 years as things have been changing. We don't really have candidates for adult membership anymore. So we eliminated that and put in associate status, because this has to do with the status and self-admission of adult members and so on. There's some other paragraphs that talk about adult membership. So that was just the removal of that particular phrase. That's what was
Okay, on bylaw amendment number 2.
Question number 4?
Oh, sorry, questions?
No, I'm
Oh,
just voting.
Oh, he's voting. Okay, all those in favor of the change? All those
All right.
opposed? Passed.
Okay.
Jumping the gun.
The next one, number 3.
Yeah, so the next one is actually a new paragraph. We recognized, and this is actually something that is, I believe is part of ONCA as well, is the idea of membership not being transferable. We had never declared that in the bylaws itself, so we added that as an explicit paragraph under the membership and associate status article.
All right, so Article 3 membership point, the new paragraph added. All those in favor? Any opposed? Passed.
Okay.
You're opposed?
It was.
Okay. We had one opposition. The next one.
So the next one kind of clarified, because we had removed one of the classes of we removed one of the classes of associates, and so we just clarified that so that it was fees for adult members and associates instead of both classes of associates. So we don't have 2 classes of associates.
All right. All those in favor?
That was the change there. Yeah.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
The administration one. So the next one was purely a housekeeping item. So what happened was, in the previous version, they referred to a paragraph below that didn't exist, and so all we did was we just aligned the numbering in that. So that's all the that particular item is.
Yeah. None of the actual wording has changed other
No.
than where you're going to look for the thing. All those in favor? Any opposition? Motion passed.
So the next one, under organizational structure as well, there was the gender change, his, her to their, and then the president, the changing as well of instead of annual general meeting, and this is an ONCA usage of the term. Instead of calling it an annual general meeting, they refer to an annual meeting.
Oh, sorry, I missed that.
So that was the other. So those are the 2 changes. It was more of an ONCA alignment, and then the gender change. So.
All right. All those in favor?
Mark Ward says to us, yes to all the changes.
Okay. Any opposition? Motion passed.
Alan Gate also says yes to all the L.
Okay.
They're going back. Yeah.
So number 5.
Number 5. Number 5. It was just a change in the wording on the, and this was, I think Deb was the one that mentioned this. First of all, there's the gender inclusivity part, his, her to their, and then the term was election immediately following the election, so it didn't make any sense. Like, it's just kind of a grammar thing. Like, election immediately following the election didn't make any sense, so we updated that, I think is what we did. I'm just reading, sorry. Yeah. So.
It looks the same election for
Well,
president.
it says the same, actually. The only thing that changes is his, her, and their.
I thought there was something else. Okay. No,
All right.
There's something else, but okay.
Yeah. All those in favor? Any opposition? Motion passed.
Okay.
Looks the same as the gender. It just changed from his or.
Yeah. So the next one is his, her, their.
Yeah. So the next one is successor. Yep. Yeah, that was the his, her to their.
All in favor?
That changed. Sorry.
Any opposed? Passed.
So the next one has to do with committees and sections as part of the organizational structure. So we no longer refer to sections, we refer to leagues.
Yes.
So that was the change there. So the title of that particular paragraph became committees and sections. And the numbering as well, if you took a look at the overall structure of that particular
we're just aligning them with the rest of them. Rick said that there was some misalignment, so that's why it happens to be number 6, because
Instead of
technically it was number 6 instead of number 3, which was in the old bylaw. So that's just kind of cleaning up the numbers. So
All in
that's
favor?
the change there.
Any opposition? Passed. I think it's just a number thing. So.
Yeah, so the last one were club manager, it's number 4. Club manager, it's actually number 7. Once again, this was just kind of cleaning house here. So.
All in favor? Any opposition?
The number, not the text.
Yeah, that's all that
Correct,
changed.
just a number, yeah.
All right,
As I said,
motion passed.
There were a number of those as we were reading through it that we were trying to figure out, okay, so what is the correct numbering and so on.
All right. So we should be at page 4.
Page 4 is a,
His,
yeah,
her,
his, her to there.
Yeah.
Change.
Administration, Article 4, change from his, her to their. All in favor? Any opposition? Passed.
Oh, the other thing in this one,
Did I miss one?
not that important. No, it's once again when we were reading through the bylaw, there's actually a lot of kind of grammar that was corrected, and I think that was the other part that was here. It says period of 1 year versus 1 year.
Oh, okay.
So that's all that was.
Typo, yeah.
As I said, it's a typo. We once again for completeness, we included a lot of the grammar changes as well as the spelling corrections.
So
Okay.
So we'll put a couple laws in the second part.
Yeah, so this one is, yeah, so the first one is really, the old bylaw said that the board can, we can create these bylaws and so on, but it was updated to be subject to applicable laws, the board has the power to make. So this was, once again, this was an ANCA change, where the power that's given to the board by the membership and so on, it just reflects the wording that ANCA uses. So that's kind of the first part of that sentence.
And from a practical thing, what we found last summer is we can want to make changes, but if they're against the law, we can't make them.
Yeah.
So it just became something we should actually put in there. So all in favor? Any opposition?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Going back a little bit. I noticed we mentioned club manager, but we didn't mention ice maker. As a
That's because the club manager is supervising the ice.
right, but it doesn't say that's an employee of the
You
club.
do the bartenders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, that was passed.
Okay. So what is that?
That was the one just above there. So
Oh,
that one
yeah,
has
so now
power of
the board has the power, so this talks about how we can spend money, is fundamentally what it is. So if the wording is slightly changed once again to purchase or otherwise acquire, we changed it to undertake any project or purchase or otherwise acquire. So it was really around focusing the board on entering into agreements to do something, as opposed to just going out and buying, right? Because it has to do with extending liability on behalf of the club. So that's why we added that.
All in favor?
Makes sense.
Any opposition? Passed.
Okay.
This is page 5.
Page 5, okay,
Yeah.
so finance directorate.
Well, that was a part of that other one, sorry. Let me scroll down. It was, there we go.
Okay, so the finance directorate, the change that we made here was really kind of not a best practice, but it was something that became practical within the board over the last 5 years. Previously, the requirement within the bylaws was that the finance directorate consisted of 3 directors plus the president. And practically, there was usually 2 plus the president. So we just amended the bylaw to reflect, as I said, what the practice had been for the previous number of years. So,
All in favor?
discussion.
Any opposition? Passed.
Okay.
I believe it's the same thing.
The same thing for the second one. It was just, once again, it was a matter of the practical nature of having 3 members of the board plus the president on that particular directorate. Policies and procedures.
All in favor? Any opposition? Passed.
Okay, so the next one is fairly lengthy. A couple of things that happened. One was there was a consolidation of numbering and so on. We can kind of talk to that. I think special meeting of the board. So this, the changes that were made here also reflect the new Charitable Corporations Act. And that had to do with being able to call special meetings and the number of individuals that are on a board and form the quorum and so on. One of the big changes, for example, is 6 directors present in person or via audible electronic means constitutes a quorum, whereas the previous one was 5 directors present. Once again, that's in line with the ONCA legislation. Just trying to see if there's special meetings board call. Yeah, and how we can call special meetings of the board. And this is just a board meeting. This isn't kind of like a general meeting. Special meetings of the board called by the president or any 2 directors, and the notification and so on. Once again, that's an ONCA regulation that we wanted to include in our bylaws to reflect that. Our previous one was pretty much they can be held by the president or any 2 members. It was very similar, but the wording actually reflects closer to what ONCA has got. And then they said as the numbering, there were 2 sections that should have been collapsed in the old bylaws. So that's why we've got 6 paragraphs in the new one and 7 in the old one, because one of the paragraphs it wasn't 2, it was actually 1, so they were consolidated as well.
2 and 3 in the
So 2 and 3 in the old one, yeah. Okay.
All those in favor? Opposition? Okay. Passed.
Elected. So this one was just simply a naming change. Once again,
The annual general meeting.
You'll see that if there were 4 or 5 changes that we made, annual general meeting to general meeting. Once again, that reflects the ONCA legislation. So that's what that one is.
Sorry, I missed my one.
No worries.
All those in favor? Any opposition? Passed.
Okay. So this one, the changes that were made here once again reflects ONCA, and it is a little misleading because it says subject to any limitation contained in the Not-for-Profit Corporations Act 2010. That's when the legislation was tabled. It actually wasn't approved. It didn't get sent until actually 2021, believe it or not. So it's the same piece of legislation that I've been talking about, the ONCA legislation. So it really talks about liability of the board and directors and those sorts of things. And once again, that just aligns with the ONCA legislation. So that's what we've done here.
All those in favor? Any opposition? Passed. And Raquel, I'm assuming you'll tell me if somebody says no. Thank you. Here's the last line. The compliance of applicable laws.
Oh, yeah, so we had, so we just added, carried out within the provisions established in the club bylaws and applicable laws. Once again, that's aligns us with the ONCA legislation, right? So that's to what Dwayne said previously when we said that we can't do anything against the legislation of the province or the government. So.
All in favor? Any opposition? Passed. This one I didn't know.
Okay, this here. Oh, this is a general meeting, right? So instead of say annual general meeting now, we say annual meeting. So that was the change that was here.
Oh yeah. So right after basically the second line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as they say, this is just a wording change of annual general meeting to general annual meeting. Sorry.
All in favor? Any opposition? Passed. I think there's some on the next page. I'm trying to get this to work right. See, I lose it. Sorry.
No worries.
it's the commencement line. So right at the bottom of the page, we added that.
Oh, yeah, so this one, there was a, this was really, I think this has to do with disbursements in the next curling season. So it's a matter of doing it, I think it's right, that's what the
Yeah,
addition.
we didn't say commencements, it just says in advance of the
In
next.
advance of the next curling season, yeah, advancement of the
Change to
commencement of the next
commencements.
curling season, yeah, so.
It's just a wording change. So was that clear to everybody? Because I know it's split over two screens, I apologize. We just changed from recorded in advance of the next curling season to in advance of the commencement of the next curling season.
So before the start of the curling season, it's just a matter of giving, giving the board, yeah, to have the expenditures prior to the commencement of the season.
All in favor? Any opposition? Passed.
This is another one of the two things here. Well, actually, all of it has to do with ONCA once again, replacing annual general meeting with just annual meeting. It also talks about the number of votes that are required to review the membership or to review the financial statements.
So it says, well, it looks like it added 10% of the votes, whereas there was nothing in there in the previous.
Right.
I'm going to tie this into the next one because this is the one I added. As we talked about earlier, the old bylaws said that we had to have this meeting on a Monday in June. It's no longer feasible to have audited numbers by a Monday in June. The last 3 years, we've always reported unaudited numbers, just due to the length of time of getting all the information in, checking it, getting it to the auditor, and getting it back. So what we did was we added in to be a specified date before the 14th of July. This allowed, because even Nethercott was having problems near the end of getting us the information in time, and it's pushed us back, and I've had to publish them after the fact and send it out. So it's just moving the date, allowing us more time to actually get audited numbers in, so we're not doing a two-step process. And then the other part was adding the 10% in part 2 of that. So any questions on that? I know it's a little different than what's up there. Yes, Kent?
Yes, I have an objection to the July meeting. I think you're now into sort of holiday time for people. I think you're running the risk of not having the required quorum. I would also ask why, after so many years of being able to provide financial statements in time for a June meeting, why we cannot do that now? Like, could we not fix that part up and not run the risk of not having a majority or having a quorum for a meeting?
I can only say what I've been experienced in the 3 years. Nobody's had it done in time. Nethercott and who they went to, and Penny Legion, they both said we don't have the time. We have too many other clients. So if we found somebody, this could be amended. But the last 3 accountants we've used for this have not had it done in time. We don't have the financials done until almost the end of May by the time everything's in. Then we have to do an internal review, which takes till about the 1st or 2nd week of June, because it takes about 2 weeks. So that's leaving you 10 days for somebody to do a financial audit, which is not realistic anymore.
Okay.
Right? And again, if we found, I mean, I would love to, don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why, because we had kind of an internal conversation about this regarding audited financial numbers versus just unaudited numbers, and that's why it says before the 14th of July.
Yeah, it could be early.
So it could still be the last week of June.
Yeah.
Or it could be now.
Well, it can't be the last week of June, you wouldn't be changing the bylaw, so.
No, but we don't know. I mean, on any particular year, we could have it July 3rd one year and have them ready. We could have it on June 29th.
I'm expressing my concern about finding a quorum in July.
No, and I agree.
Yeah. We talked about that as well, and we also thought with the availability of the online now and having Zoom meetings and live streaming, that we should be able to have that. And if it does cause a problem, then we can amend the bylaw back in 5 years. I mean, I just can't promise you're going to get audited numbers, and if we don't change that, so. Yes.
So in fact, we can
Oh,
audit
sorry.
it back in 1 year.
Sorry, what's that?
We can reverse it in 1 year if someone puts a motion.
Oh, yeah,
forward.
yes, oh, so any bylaw can be reviewed,
Yeah.
if there's a motion forward and we can actually
According
have a
to the
separate
rule
meeting.
of
Yeah.
subsection 17, part 3, yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Oh, I was just curious, how many people are online and voting?
We've had Mark, Dave, and Matt.
5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
That's it?
Because you barely have a quorum here
You
tonight.
barely
Yeah,
have a
that's what
quorum.
I'm
The
saying.
only
Yeah.
reason you have quorum is because of the board and the incoming board members.
Yeah. And again, I'm not sure it will work, and we may have to revisit this, but.
I think we have to give somebody an award every year to have a quorum.
Yeah, but, and we did talk about that, we also were worried about that. It just comes down to, unless we change it to be that we can show an unaudited, financials at the AGM with audited ones to be provided as soon as possible.
That might be a better solution if you're gonna.
And that's fine, I mean, we can, we can write it right now. Okay, so we'll ask the question. Kent's brought a point about, worry about, having enough people. Would everybody be more, that's here and online, be more comfortable with, us amending this to say unaudited can be presented if not available, and will be made available as soon as possible?
You could say audited by July 14th.
Yeah,
That's good.
yes.
Okay. Unaudited numbers in June like we do now. And
Yeah, we have to actually put, we have to put it in the bylaw.
And then
because the
audited by
bylaws-
July 14th.
Yeah.
Do that.
Another point too, you're talking about audited, now you're not really having an audit, you're having a review engagement.
Yes,
As an accountant, that means really basically think, okay?
yeah,
They're not really doing anything, they're looking at, oh, yeah, there's one. They're really looking at what you're presenting and saying, is that reasonable?
yeah,
That's all they're doing.
yeah.
They're comparing it to last year, saying, yeah, that's reasonable, that's reasonable. No one's coming in here and checking inventories, okay? Nobody's coming in making sure you got your accruals, make sure the prepaids are done. That's not the kind of audit you're getting. So to me, much better to have a meeting in June without the, quote, audit than
I agree.
risk having, no quorum, as we just pointed out, we almost had no quorum tonight.
Okay, so
So-
did you catch what they want to change? So is everybody here tonight okay with changing that to be,
I
can't remember
think the other
exactly.
issue we had too is that it's always specified on a Monday. right?
Oh, yeah, and then, we actually want to take it on a Monday.
So we wanted to have more flexibility on the day of the
The only reason it was Mondays originally is because I've been board meetings were on Mondays.
Yeah.
It was a nice choice.
So we can amend it back to be a specific, annual meeting to be held on a specific date before the end of June.
Yep.
With, audited financials to be provided by July 14th.
Yes.
Does everybody feel that is reasonable for a change?
Well, if they're not audited, why put the audited word in, why not put it in the comprehensive review?
It's just the way it's always been written, and we can change it to the
Well,
review engagement.
It's called a review engagement.
Yeah.
It's not audited.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
audited, take audit.
Okay, so let's review the review engagement.
Independently review.
Yeah, independent review engagement to be done by July
And
14th.
just for accuracy, I would put June 30th rather than end of June.
Sorry, what's that?
I would put June 30th, the actual date, rather than end of June. Just
Oh,
for
by
accuracy.
June 30th, yeah, sorry.
Formed by an arm's length company.
Okay, so with the amended bylaw proposal.
So the other one within this section,
Yep.
before we approve or whatever, there's actually two parts to it. So the second one has to do with the calling of a special general meeting. So that's the second.
Yeah, that's the 10% vote that changed.
Jim Jubilee says remove general for consistency. I don't know if he means that for the special general meetings,
Yeah, it should just be a annual meeting.
special meetings.
Yeah, where it says two special general meeting,
Yeah.
special annual,
General.
annual meeting.
Aren't they
Just
special
The special
membership
meetings,
They make it special meeting, not just.
instead of special general meeting.
Yeah, so it's special meeting.
The general is being taken out as of everything.
We've also had more people vote on the bylaws as yes.
Did catch that.
I have both Glenn Steffler and Linda Parsons saying yes changes to Kent's suggestion, and Glenn has said yes to everything so far.
Okay. Okay. So point 2, special general meeting or special meetings now. once again, this was an ANCA requirement, so as an organization, you have to allow your membership to call special meetings. And so what ANCA does is ANCA outlines how many members you need in order to call that meeting, right? So in our old bylaws, we said we had to have 25 adult members. The ANCA legislation says 10% of the membership.
So it would be 31, 33, 31?
So that's,
Well, it'll be over 40 next year.
Yeah.
Well, no, because we were at 300 and something this year, right?
Next year will be over.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what next year is, it's not here yet, there's no registration.
Going by history.
Yeah.
Well, that's just for the special meeting, not for the annual.
correct, correct. That's for the special meeting. So if there is a group inside the club that wants to bring something to the attention of the club that requires board action or whatever, then they can call a special meeting as long as they've got
So
that.
that doesn't, that first sentence doesn't actually read that, because it says special meetings may be called at any time by the board of directors. So is it a meeting called by the members or the board of directors? Special meeting.
Either, I think.
Well, it says put by the directors.
Well, yeah, so what it means, yeah, you're right. So what happens here is it's saying that you only need 10% of the membership for that meeting.
To
be
requisition the
passed.
directors to call the meeting. If you read the next line, it says to requisition the directors to call the
The
meeting.
meeting, yeah,
So
yeah,
the,
okay,
so
so-
those 10% go to the director who call, and the board.
Yeah, because
who
we're the ones
calls
that
them.
call the meeting and we call it based on, okay,
Yeah,
so I was right in
fine.
the first place, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so fundamentally what it would do is, if it was this particular year, old bylaws would say we needed 25 people. The new bylaw would say we need 30, or 31, rounding up.
Yeah, 31.
So that's, as I say, and that aligns it with what, with the new legislation. Okay.
Okay, I know, thanks for the question, Ken. All right, so all those in favor of changing the wording to what Kent discussed on the point 1, raise your hand. Any opposition?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll amend that and we'll send it out, make sure that it looks right, and if we've made a mistake, we'll fix it. On point 2, where we added that you have, instead of saying 25, it has to be the 10% of the membership total. All in favor? Any opposition? Okay.
Does that say adult membership?
Yes,
Yes, it
adult
does.
members.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
It does.
Doesn't matter, we can say.
This is the too far.
It's okay. The next one,
It's changing it,
Yeah.
7 days to 10.
yeah, so the next one is, once again, this aligns with ANCA legislation, where previously we said 7 days notice for the annual general meeting or a special general meeting. 7 days is required. ANCA just is, it's 10, so that was the change there. And then there was wording around the annual meeting.
And with the other
And-
change we just made, David, in the first line, it was on the second side, the right-hand side, it's just special meeting now, not
Yeah,
general.
okay, take that out. And then the other one was the, it's just talking about,
It was changing, the part B was changing to 10 from 14.
yeah, so it was making, so the second part is about how notice would be done, as far as the number of days again. So instead of 14 in the old rules, or sorry, in the old bylaws, we're now down to 10 as far as notification. So it talks about put it in the curling calendar or post something in the locker room, I think is what it says. There was also a change in the formatting, just to kind of be consistent with what we were talking about. So if you take a look, we had, and I know it rolls over on the second page, but it said, notice of the time and place, A is this, and then it says or, and then it goes to the number 3. So we decided that it should be A and B, or A or B, not A or 3. So that was the other part of the change, was purely a
I would like to suggest that's an A and B. So it's email or post as and do. Because people don't see, like if you just say or, you could just put it on the club calendar, nobody really see it. Because nobody looks at club calendar every day.
As for consistency, but also when you have his and her, you maybe change it to their, because you got to change it to their.
Oh,
for
yeah,
all the
yeah, I
different
missed that
ones.
one, thank you.
See, David?
Yep. Current season.
I can't write it. I can't edit this document. I can highlight it, but I can't edit.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think and would, yeah.
Okay. So with the mentioned changes that David is writing down and noting, all those in favor? Any opposition? Passed with the changes.
Okay.
We have to change this.
Yeah, so the next one as well, we had the special general meeting, and then annual meeting was changed as well.
And it's not no longer a minimum of 25, right? Or is that only specific to those other times? It's now 10%.
No, 10% is only needed. We can declare what the quorum is, but 10% to call a special meeting.
Okay, gotcha.
Quorum is not present. Yeah, so this was an addition that was made because they said if we don't have a quorum, what do we do? Like, what can we do? There was nothing explicitly in the bylaws as far as what happens if you don't have a quorum. So we just put in, if the quorum's not present, we can adjourn the meeting, and then that's pretty much it. That's what happens, right? If a quorum is not present, the present members may adjourn the meeting to a fixed time and place, but may not decide any other business. So that's all this is. This is just saying if you don't have, because when in the original one, in the 2017 version, it said if you don't have a quorum, this is what a quorum is, but it doesn't say what happens if you don't have a quorum. So that was just kind of closing that section.
Do you
point out another option, and again, I'm not necessarily promoting this, but the other option is proceed with the meeting and look for confirmation from the membership afterwards. Like, nothing you decide is in stone until you get it approved.
I believe that's against the law.
It could be. It could be. I'm just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay, then I rescind.
No, it's
No,
okay.
no, that's a good
Retract.
question. It's a legitimate question. I could not answer one way or the other.
So I'm just wondering, just to that point, you have minimum of 25 adult members, right, for the annual meeting. But if you have a 10% for the special, special meeting, or special general meeting, particularly general, special meeting, if you have 10% of the membership, which is 31, and if you don't have 25.
Because we have both annual meeting and special general
Right,
meeting.
I mean, I'm
think we
thinking
can
it should
change
be
it to
separate.
10%.
Sorry, my understanding is the special meeting, the 10% would refer to the number of members that would need to want a special meeting.
Correct.
That's not necessarily the quorum at the special meeting.
Correct.
They're two
Okay.
different
This is
criteria.
exactly.
Two different
Exactly.
things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 10% have to want to have the meeting.
Correct.
But only 25 have to be at the meeting.
Right.
Okay.
So I think it's fine the way it's worded there.
Okay.
Is that clear as mud for everybody? Okay, all those in favor of the change? Oh, Ian's got, are you voting, Ian?
We're voting.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, Ian. Any opposition? Okay, passed. Or-
Page 9. It's not page 9.
Here we go. This is where we are. No.
Just
Clicking at-
move the mouse a little bit to the left and click.
Have you
Oh,
given
that's
this
not-
one?
Yeah, right there.
There.
It looks like a number.
This one was just a formatting issue, excuse me.
If you took a look at the 2017 format, the first bullet point was actually number 1, and then it said, this is a list, and the first item in the list was the statement, this is the list. So then it went 2, 3, 4, 5, so we just renumbered it. So that's the only change that was made here.
All those in favor? Any opposition? Passed.
Yeah, so this the last one on this page was just the changing of annual general meeting, and we'll also drop special general meeting.
Yeah, so it's from annual general and special general to annual meeting and special meeting.
Okay.
All those in favor? Any opposition? Passed.
This one is an alignment of
the corporations. It's middle of the page, sorry.
Yeah. This has to do with proxy voting, so giving somebody your voting rights at a general meeting or at a meeting. Sorry. So this one just aligns it to, once again, ONCA has specific provisions in their legislation that talks about the use of proxy votes, so that's all this is doing is aligning it with what ONCA says, in conjunction with what we had in the previous bylaws. So we just align the two.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Any opposition? Okay, passed.
All right, so, oh, this was just a numbering one as well. If you take a look, it said nomination, so it was the header of a list, and that was bullet 1, and then the list item started at 2, 3, 4, so that's all this was, just a renumbering. And I think there was some, oh, the other one was Article 6, B above, it was actually section B above, so that once again, that was just making sure that the reference in the paragraph was to the correct part of the bylaw itself. So that's what the change was there as well. So this, once again, this was just more consistency. It fundamentally didn't change anything in the bylaw itself.
There is a question for James. For further discussion, what is the role of remote attendees for quantum purposes? Quorum?
Quorum, yeah.
Purposes. That's Mark Ward asking.
Do they count as part of the quorum?
I guess, yeah.
Well, the board will discuss whether it's even or not, because we had, last year was everybody was virtual.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that would be the intention, is that we're gonna remain keeping it virtual for the foreseeable
So
future.
hybrid then?
Yes.
So you count attendance, right, on there?
Yes.
So to me, that would be part of the
Yes.
Yeah.
quorum count,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you can't count attendance because you don't know actually who's logged on and if they're actual members.
So that was the
So
question.
you can't
That's
get-
what I'm wondering.
Earlier
can't-
today, because the social member of the club asked through social media, so my suggestion would be to have them all just say, hi, I'm Donna, I'm here, because I know Donna's texting me, but she's not responding to anything on there. Hi, Donna. So you know how many people are actually, like, you can't see how many,
No.
who is viewing,
Correct.
because there's some strange person that's commented there
Correct.
as well. But you could, if they all respond with their name, then you would be able to count them more.
Yeah, but then you don't really know that they're gone. That's the challenge.
Could we start giving out
I could say, Teresa.
Those are
If
the
you Zoom, you would.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Zoom.
Yeah, and I think we need to change platforms.
Just have to change the platform, because then you can see everybody.
Exactly, we gotta change the platform.
You'll always know exactly what it
What was used last year? That was Zoom. Not this. I know.
So I guess going forward, it won't be live streamed on YouTube, it'll be a Zoom link, so that everyone's presence can be known
More real
with
time.
a face.
Yeah.
And then that's how we'll count them.
Okay, so for the two, any questions? Sorry, I'll ask that first, because we had a couple discussions. All those in favor? Any opposition?
Okay.
Passed.
Okay, the last couple of seconds.
Sorry, I'm just
Yep.
wondering whether,
Yep.
I know we passed this one already, but does that statement about quorum of people viewing online or Zoom need to be added to our bylaws?
Yes, I believe it probably.
Yeah, I think we've already said in virtual, way back.
So you don't believe it says anything but virtual there.
Even still, we should probably specify what exactly.
It's just the point that defined how many members are in quorum, like what the quorum is.
Well, just I know there's members who reached out to me and asked if they're viewing online, how do we actually know they're viewing online, right? And were they going to be counted as part of the quorum tonight? So we added into our bylaws.
Well, Zoom, you'll see everybody on Zoom when we change the platform.
Yeah.
So then everybody will know. I know this was a different platform.
I think Kelly's point is always like make that known in the bylaw.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes, all you have to say is virtual attendees will be included in the count for the.
Because right now it says just as people, 25 people present, that's what it
Right.
says.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's gotta be.
So we have to update.
Well, you need the
quorum.
definition of present, right?
Yes, right.
So present is defined
So you can
as,
say
is what
virtually or
the
in
way I would
person.
do it. Right?
James is making a note. We will add that.
But earlier in one of the sections you had in person or by audio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the same wording you use.
Okay, we will put that in there. I can't remember where it is. I have to go look at it. Okay, sorry. Yes, we voted on this, right?
Correct.
This should be
Bottom of page 10. So now we're on.
Should be on page 11. Here you go. There you go.
This one was more, the changes that were made here was just aligning the terminology, because in the old bylaw it said for the purposes of this section, and it actually is not a section in the bylaws, it's an article. So it was just a matter of aligning that with where the paragraph was located. So that's what this change was. So it doesn't change it just changed what it was referring to.
All those in favor? Any opposition? Motion carried.
Okay.
It was the general meeting to special meeting.
Oh, yeah, general meeting, special meeting. Yeah, and then what was the other one on this?
We all have to change the fourth line where it says adult members, they're present. We'll have to add in person / via.
So what's the general meeting? I thought we had annual meeting, I thought we had the annual meeting, and then we had special meeting. I thought we took general out.
Yeah, so in the old bylaws, it was actually incorrect too, and we just kept it.
I think what Susan's saying is in the first line there, point 1, it says at any general meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be it should actually be annual meeting.
We won't use the word general. Command F for general.
Yeah, because, yeah.
So,
That's fine.
From general to annual, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a change that we need to make there. And I'm trying to think, I don't think we changed anything in the amendment.
No. I didn't see anything, so nothing's on that. Okay, all those in favor of the change? All those opposed? That's it for bylaws. So what we'll do, we'll make the changes and we'll resend it out. And those of you that are here and that were online, please have a quick read in case we missed anything that people remember. And then we will finalize and get them onto the website.
I would like to add a suggestion. The 5 years, every 5 years we do the bylaws, to make that 10%. More. I just think.
Oh, to actually have to have a 10% quorum to
Or
change the bylaws.
To change the bylaws. Because if you have 450 people or 500 people, 25 is not very much.
How do?
My suggestion to think about.
Yeah.
Just for the
5 years.
Just every 5 years.
No, it's a legitimate question. I mean, it probably makes sense if we ever get to 500 members To be 100% honest, the 10% would be definitely a good number. We can also, well, we could put that, as Kent said, we can have that voted on next year to be amended.
You can amend it next year, not to be quite
Yeah.
Mark Ward says Zoom works, and he also says virtual attendees must be visually confirmed for quorum purposes. Don't read out, just share with James after, thanks.
Don't read out. So we understand, okay.
Does anybody here have a twin?
That's okay.
So I did put on here that, to make a note that it should be with camera on. I believe visual representation is the only way to actually know.
Yes.
Thanks, David. Thanks, David.
Thank you, David.
That was long, sorry everybody, but we do that. I'm not gonna make that better. So, at this point in time, we have nothing more to add. Are there any questions at this time that haven't been covered or are pressing? Otherwise, we need someone to, SEN. Motion to adjourn. We need a second. Oh, wait, before we do that, I want to say something because it is my last day. We received, many times this year, and I said this a couple other times, we received a lot of feedback about what we've done as a board to make sure everything ran. And we got most of that information and feedback from all of you, so you helped us make the decisions and very much keep the club open this year. So I want to thank all of you for telling us what you needed, telling us what you wanted. It made our decisions much easier, so thank you all. Yes, second the motion to adjourn. All right, meeting done. Thank you all very much. Now, the two new members, we actually have to have a meeting in the back room for 5 minutes. It really is like a 5-minute meeting.
You're not in trouble.
And the present board members need to come into the back for 1 minute.